so easily.
What is that? The water, like the whales splashing in the water? Abilene, did you have a fart or did you leave an item?
Uncle Gavin, you know better than that. You know
Right
the area.
here always stinks.
No. Why? I like there's a sewer plant.
No, but it always smells like manure and sewage.
Yes, it does.
Like I noticed that years ago. And there's one outside of Lanchester too.
Yeah, that's where the sewer plant is.
Oh yeah. It's
Is that-
outside. It's right from the train tracks.
Yep.
Like right up the train tracks. That always smells too.
That's the sewer plant.
Yeah.
And Jim told him years ago that that sewer plant was not big enough to carry everything. He ended up putting in retiring from the military. He didn't love it. They went in, and then they annexed all the fairground acres and he told them this is like a sewer plant just isn't big enough for it. And it always smells like overflow.
There was a meeting somewhere, I forget where, a couple days, or maybe tonight. Sometime this week in Hillsboro, a bunch of people are going to get together because they're trying to do something about Highland County water. Because so many people have had so many issues with them.
I know some places, it always is, well, I have it on a boil alert.
Well, they can't even be bothered to tell people about boil advisories. And a bunch of people have been complaining because their water has gone out and they don't notify them that their water is out. And they try to call them and they won't answer the phone or tell them when their water will be fixed. And a bunch of people have had issues with their water being super like sedimenty or hard. And other people are being like, yeah, it's ruined our water filters and stripped our faucets because it's so hard. Or the water pressure suddenly gets really bad. Or one guy, he's like, our water pressure, he's like, it was like a hose. He's like, and it ruined some of their piping or something because their house wasn't equipped for it. And some people have been complaining because they've been like, yeah, our
You have
water is
Hillsboro
dirty.
water?
Oh yeah. Some people have been complaining because their water's dirty, like it's not getting filled. So they were having a meeting to try to do something about Highland County water.
Well, the Highland County water treatment plant's right there in town.
And our pipes are super old. Like, something, apparently our pipes were supposed to have been replaced by now. Because they're really old. They haven't been replaced since like the 50s. that is literally like probably a third of the posts I see each week is people talking about the water company. Also talking about how shitty it is that the trash companies run keys and the prices, and talking about how something else they complain about because they basically have a monopoly.
Yeah. Rumpke charges a $10 service charge on every one. A gas charge. It takes $10 to go from one house to another.
Yeah, they get away with it.
Yeah.
The electric company. Whatever we have.
Do you have
South
Central or Southern Power or something like that?
Yeah, talking about how they hiked up their rate.
Yeah, they can be assholes too if you're behind.
Yeah, I've seen several people. And there's another one out there too. Is it A&E or something?
AE, yeah, that's what it used to be Dayton Power Line.
Yes,
That's who we've got now.
I think that's who we have.
AE.
And then there's South something.
South Central.
Yeah, and then there's Pike Gas.
Yeah, Pike Gas is what we've got.
And that's who we have too, I'm pretty sure. But I've seen a bunch of people complain about not even so much the electric companies, it's the fact that their prices got hiked so much.
Man, these clouds.
Because it's under 10 pounds. I told Timmy, I was like, I have a feeling she's going to be in newborn diapers for like a good 6 weeks or so. So everyone's like, they won't be in newborn diapers longer than a week or two. And I'm like, yeah, if you have a normal sized baby.
She was what you call tiny.
No, but she is very
She's on the
small.
smaller
She wasn't tiny to the point. If she had been under the 10th percentile, they said that's when they would have worried. But she was 19th percentile. So that is really small still.
You think that's small baby.
But yeah, if you had a normal sized baby, like, you know, the 7.5 to 8 pounds.
You see how long you had at Brighton Northern West, 81 pounds.
No.
The first one.
Well, like I said, if we had a normal sized baby, that was like 8 pounds to begin with. That's about almost the normal size now. She would have only been in those diapers for 3 weeks. Because we had a very small baby, so she'll be in those diapers for
You did a good job.
There's not much I could have done. I mean, it's mostly luck and genetics.
Shoot, what I do?
You did a good job.
There we go. Sorry about
Is
that.
what?
No, what I
I'm just
didn't.
happy I didn't have the perineal tear or have to have an episiotomy, because that was what those two things I was horrified of. I was like, I hope I don't need this.
Usually they did an episiotomy, but you needed it.
Yeah, pretty much. But luckily they've stopped doing that because they found out a lot of the time the episiotomy is worse than the actual tearing. They really only do it now if you actually need help. Like if I were to have had a big baby, they probably would have given it to me.
Yes, and then they would have to give you extra burn. That's what it is.
Yeah.
See, but Rich, he weighed 7'9", but for me, that was a large old
Well, you also were like the size of your average like 12-year-old back then, so.
Gosh, I weighed 101 pounds today after I had that.
Uh-huh.
I weighed 116 in my average. Yeah, I wasn't very big.
So yeah, they probably would have, if she'd been like 8.5 pounds or something, they probably would have. But yeah, they said most of the time they don't do an episiotomy now unless they feel it's in your best interest. Because they used to just do it standard, and they finally, realized, oh, that might actually do more harm than good. Because apparently that can be worse than the actual tearing itself.
Well, as far as stitching,
Yeah.
it's a bad spot.
The episiotomy, and then I was so worried about my perineum tearing. Because that, I've heard horror stories. They say that is so painful, and it takes forever to heal because it's in such a weird spot, and sometimes it doesn't heal properly and it gets infected, or you have to go back and get surgery done on the scar tissue. And I was like, oh my god, what? Hopefully my butthole doesn't tear. I was still worried.
I understand. You never know.
Kind of like how I was like, I hope I don't poop on the doctor. But that was more of like I hope I don't do that because that'd be embarrassing than I hope I don't do that because that could
I'm
hurt.
surprised how many people do. Lori did, and she had Emerson.
I know. I told her that, and Lori's like, oh, I totally pooped on the doctor. I was like, you did? She's like, yeah, when I had Emrys, but I didn't care. I just wanted him out at that point.
You know, I do not remember that. She does, but I was right there, and I did not remember that.
Well, she says she pooped on the doctor.
I'm sure she did. She would remember it.
I did not poop on the doctor.
Hey, look at this, guys, in front of it.
Well, yeah, when you think about it, because, when you think about getting pregnant, you're like, oh, those muscles are totally different. It comes out a different hole. And then when you're actively, like, pregnant, not even giving labor, but pregnant, everything feels so weird down there. And it's all in the same, like, little area. And you have random pains in your butt sometimes while you're pregnant. You're like, oh. And then you start reading about labor and realizing, oh, the same muscles you use for that.
That's what pushes them out.
Yeah, that's why they said it feels like you're gonna. One person on Reddit, because I was reading about it, because they share like their labor and delivery stories, because they might help somebody. Because it's different for everybody. Because some of the stuff that's a traditional sign of labor can mean everything or nothing.
Right.
And some people have a textbook, and then other people don't. And then other people it's just like boom, and other people are drawn out for 3 days. Who knows? But she said it feels like you have to take the world's biggest shit.
Well,
She was like, the world's hardest, biggest shit. I have never felt so constipated in my life. She's like, it seriously feels like you have to poop and you cannot poop.
But I can remember that's one thing that stuck in my head because my mom was telling me what she says she can remember. The only thing she can remember is she kept telling my grandma Alan she has to poop. She has to poop, and my grandmother, Grandma Allison, says, "Rita, you can't. I got to take a shower and I've got to poop." And my grandma kept saying, "Rita, you've got to get to the hospital. You have that baby in the toilet." She said, but that's what it felt like. She felt like she had to go to the bathroom. And Grandma kept telling her, "Rita, you got to get to the hospital. That baby in the toilet."
Well, they kept telling me not to push and to wait. I was like, I'm not pushing, but every
muscle in your body tells you to do it.
Well, I wasn't actively pushing. I was resisting, but my muscles were still clenching like they were pushing because there was no way to release them.
Right.
Like I wasn't actively pushing like I was when I was having her, but I was still, my muscles were clenching like they were
doing it on their own.
Yeah, even though I wasn't like actively, tensing up or trying to push. My muscles were still like convulsing, like my stomach and down.
You pushed as long as I did, Rich.
I pushed for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yes, you did.
I was
About how long I pushed with Rich. I thought I was never going to. And finally they said, "Okay, he's crowned." So we can see the head. He's crowned. Get her into the.
I didn't even realize you come out at first.
She said a couple of pushes and she's going to fly out of there. And all of a sudden you did, and man, she slipped out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that she was out at first. I'm so tired. should have been done in less than half that because it took 50 minutes. And they were treating me like, oh God. I was like, you know, I'm not a science project. Tell them how to freaking do it and get it over with. And then they were like, oh, does that hurt? Yeah, well, I thought you're,
Yeah, because usually by the time you push, it makes you feel you're numb down there for a while.
like, I thought your
But that numb-
epidural would have still, no, I can feel you guys poking me every time. And then they kept stitching and unstitching and restitching and cross-stitching and down-stitching. And I was like, ow. And then come to find out that half the poking and pulling, because it was so weird when they put the stitches in and then they pull it and it, oh, that was as bad as the epidural. I almost threw up when I got the epidural because it was such a, oh, yeah, that was such an icky feeling. Didn't hurt, it just felt icky. But I was like, that sucks. And then come to find out they didn't even need to do half that stitching. It was them restitching and then unstitching it and then restitching it. And I'm like, please stop. I'm like, we're almost done. I'm like, thank God. And kind of 10 minutes later, yeah, we're done with the first one. What do you mean the first one?
That's when the one doctor in the doctor says, get the, and your mom made it so good Lord.
Silver nitrate.
Yeah. So that's all we need to put on there. It's a cauterization.
And they were still arguing. And she's like, no, what did you? Oh my God. And I was like, I
And the
don't
doctor
care.
says, go get it.
But get your fingers out of my hoo-ha. That's all I want at this point. I don't want anybody else to touch me down there for like at least a year. I had so many fingers up and around there.
But I have to say, yes, the doctors are good.
I had some great nurses too.
Yes, you had excellent nurses. Excellent. You could not have wanted better nurses. And I have to say, the doctor that came in, I know, she was just,
Holy.
yeah, she was good. She made, but she treated you well. She knew what she was on top of it. Timmy's here.
Oh. I guess he decided not to text me.